Forrest Gump still tugs at heartstrings all around the world. Yet hidden behind its warm glow are jaw-dropping secrets waiting to burst into the spotlight. So much trivia fills every frame that once you dive in, you can never watch the movie the same way again. One overlooked mistake is so huge that it stayed buried for years, but we will get there soon. So keep watching because each fact gets wilder than the last. Number 20. Lieutenant Dan's Lost Legs. Lieutenant Dan, brought to life by Gary Sinise, ranks among cinema's most unforgettable war veterans. He appears on screen as a double amputee, and the trick that sold the illusion was nothing short of revolutionary at the time. Sinise wrapped bright blue cloth around his legs during every wheelchair scene, letting the effects team wipe them out frame by frame when editing. The result left viewers stunned because the missing limbs looked painfully real, adding raw power to Dan's struggle for identity once his soldier life vanished. Sinise's acting plus those clever visuals turned bitterness into a beautiful arc of acceptance, leaving audiences in tears of relief when Dan finally found peace. We have only touched the surface, and the next surprise shoots straight into rock and roll royalty. Number 19. Elvis drops in with a secret voice. Forrest Gump dances with history by tossing its hero into worldwide milestones, and the Elvis cameo might be the most playful twist of them all. A young Elvis stays at Forrest's house, copies the boy's silly dance, then takes it on a stage that would shake America forever. Actor Peter Dobson handled the hips, yet the voice floating through the scene never came from his mouth at all. Kurt Russell, who had once worn Elvis's jumpsuit in a 1979 biopic, secretly slipped behind a microphone and recorded brand new lines. The switch stayed locked away for more than 10 years until Russell finally revealed the truth in 2016, shocking fans who thought they had the cameo figured out. Number 18. Forrest smiles for President Kennedy. Blending fiction with fact drives the charm of this film, letting an everyday man rub shoulders with world leaders. Forrest joins the All-America football team and shakes hands with President John F. Kennedy at the White House. Yet real timelines prove that meeting could never have happened. The Associated Press announced that team on December 6, 1963, 2 weeks after Kennedy's tragic assassination. The timeline slip does not hurt the story because it shows how Forrest's cheerful innocence floats through major moments, reminding viewers that life's magic often grows out of pure coincidence. The stitched-together history may be impossible in real life, but on screen it feels as smooth as a lullaby, and the audience gladly accepts the dream. Ready for another layer of meaning hiding in plain sight? Get set, because the next stop sits quietly in a public square. Number 17. The bench that became a legend. A simple fiberglass bench in Savannah, Georgia, turned into a cinematic shrine thanks to Forrest's gentle storytelling. Placed on the north edge of Chippewa Square, that bench anchored scene after scene as buses rolled by and strangers listened to a box of chocolates truth bomb after truth bomb. To film each angle, the crew reversed traffic around the square, making sure buses stopped exactly where the director wanted. For identical benches rotated through production, yet once filming wrapped, only one stayed behind. It now rests inside the Savannah History Museum, protected by barriers while countless visitors snap photos and imagine Hanks sharing life lessons right there. The other 3 benches disappeared into private collections, fetching auction sums as dazzling as Dorothy's ruby slippers. From plain fiberglass to priceless relic, that seat proves props can earn mythical status long after the cameras stop rolling. Our next detail mixes a real presidential scare with Forrest's record-breaking jog, and the timeline gymnastics might leave you dizzy. Number 16. Jimmy Carter's heat scare collides with Forrest's marathon. During Forrest's 3-year dash across the nation, he sprints past a barbershop TV that reports President Jimmy Carter suffering heat exhaustion on September 15, 1979. The movie sets Forrest's run in motion on July 5, 1976, which is months before Carter even moved into the Oval Office. The playful mismatch proves how the screenplay bends dates to drop Forrest into headline events, showing how his innocent presence echoes through history by pure chance. Even with the error, audiences accept the whimsy because it serves the greater theme that one kind heart can illuminate every era it touches. Brace yourself because our last reveal drags you behind the camera, where sweat and exhaustion nearly sabotaged a treasure montage. Number 15. Brutal shooting days nearly flattened Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks remembers a cross-country running montage as a back-breaking endurance test that lasted 27 straight days without mercy. Each dawn, he pulled on Forrest sneakers, sprinted to a stunning landscape for hours, then hopped on a plane to repeat in another state before sunrise. The non-stop loop drained every ounce of energy, yet the crew still had to film the iconic park bench monologues bursting with pages of dialogue. Those crucial scenes had to wrap in about 1.5 days. Even though Hanks felt completely spent by that stage, he fought to keep the southern drawl steady while his mind swam through waves of exhaustion, proving that movie magic often comes at a steep physical price. Every drop of sweat you see glistening on his face is real, forged in unforgiving heat, endless flights, and pure willpower. The next time the feather floats across the screen, remember the marathon behind it and cheer a little louder for Forrest's never-quit spirit. Number 14 is Southern accent. Listen up. Forrest sounds so real because Tom Hanks copied every syllable from the boy who played young Forrest, Michael Connor Humphreys. Instead of a textbook coach, Hanks spent hours taping Humphreys during downtime, then rehearsed a drawl in front of a mirror until it rolled off his tongue like sweet tea. The Mississippi teen spoke softly but with a musical lilt, dropping the G at the end of running and turning I into ah. Hanks did not change a single quirk, which meant the child and the adult felt like the same person living in different decades. The pair even met between takes so Hanks could check tricky words like Vietnam and Alabama, never letting the voice drift north for even a second. Crew members joked that Humphreys was the real dialect teacher, and Hanks happily agreed. At night, Hanks read entire scenes into a tape recorder, then played them back while jogging around set to lock muscle memory into every vowel. All that practice paid huge dividends because the accent never wavered, even in emotional scenes where Forrest sobs or yells in panic. This extra effort paid off big time. Critics praised the accent for never drifting into parody, and audiences believed Forrest had stepped straight out of Alabama soil. Number 13, no wages for Tom Hanks. Talk about guts. Hanks waved away a safe salary and instead asked for percentage points, meaning his payday depended entirely on how many tickets the movie sold. At first, the studio blinked, worried the bill would balloon later. But Hanks stood firm, betting that Forrest Gump would find a place in every heart. During production, nobody knew if the story of a simple man meeting presidents would click with viewers or flop like a wet feather. The budget had already climbed due to visual effects, and early test screenings were encouraging but not explosive. Yet, once the film hit theaters, it sprinted past $678 million worldwide, landing among the very top earners of 1994. Because he owned a tiny slice of every screening, Hanks walked away with an estimated $65 million, turning him into one of the highest-paid actors of the decade. Industry insiders still cite this deal when discussing smart back-end negotiations. Number 12, prosthetic lip. Heads up, movie lovers. Bubba's wide lower lip, the feature that makes every shrimp monologue so charming, came from a carefully sculpted prosthetic. Actor Michael T. Williamson's real lip did not match the exaggerated look the script described. So artists mixed silicone, paint, and patience to create a flexible piece that glued over his mouth like a second skin. Each morning, Williamson sat in the makeup chair before sunrise, while technicians pressed the prosthetic against his skin, blending edges with tiny sponges and matching freckles, so no seam showed. The fake lip had to move naturally when he talked about boiled shrimp, fried shrimp, and coconut shrimp, and it worked so well that most viewers never suspected a thing. Number 10, the war scenes. Hold your helmet. The sweaty Vietnam jungle where Forrest drags wounded buddies to safety was actually a peaceful golf course near Beaufort, South Carolina. Director Robert Zemeckis chose the site for its rolling ground and good access roads, then ordered crews to bury fairways under truckloads of dirt and load fake foliage into every bunker. Visual effects teams later added endless palm fans, vines, and drifting mist in post-production, using cutting-edge computers to erase any trace of manicured grass. They also imported real palmetto trees to thicken the horizon, draped camouflage nets over sand traps, and sprinkled black powder on the turf so muzzle flashes would spark convincingly. Filming also took place on nearby Fripp Island and Hunting Island State Park, whose empty beaches stood in for Vietnamese coastline during the napalm sunsets. Actors wore heavy packs while fire squibs exploded around them, and local humidity pushed temperatures above 100 degrees. making every sprint a battle against heat stroke. Number 9, Stand in the Schoolhouse Door. History lesson incoming. The film drops Forrest at the University of Alabama on June 11, 1963, right when Governor George Wallace tries to stop Vivian Malone and James Hood from integrating the campus. Wallace plants himself in the doorway of Foster Auditorium, promising segregation forever, while TV cameras roll and Forrest watches from the sidelines. In real life, President John Kennedy sent the National Guard to ensure the students walked through that door, and Deputy Attorney General Nicholas Katzenbach personally faced Wallace, demanding he step aside in front of the world. The 11-minute face-off ended when Wallace moved aside, and Malone and Hood enrolled that very day under federal protection. The movie keeps the core truth intact while adding Forrest as a silent observer, turning a tense chapter of civil rights into a moment of wide-eyed witness. Number 8, the original Vietnam War sequences. Brace for revelation. Early draft portrayed the entire platoon as low IQ recruits, echoing Project 100,000, a real policy that lowered enlistment standards during the Vietnam conflict. Military officials feared the portrayal would reopen painful debates, so writers scaled the idea back, leaving only Forrest and Bubba categorized as below-average intelligence. Still, the finished film does not shy away from the chaos of combat. War historian Bill Allison later applauded the ambush sequence, where hidden Viet Cong fire forces Forrest to carry comrades through waist-deep water, while rain pounds down like bullets. He said the scene captured the confusion, the sudden terror, and the grim bravery that defined countless patrols. The story also nails smaller details, like soldiers wrapping feet in plastic to fight trench rot, or the constant hum of mosquitoes that swarm every open neck. It even uses the term humping for long marches, a slice of frontline slang that rarely appears in Hollywood scripts. The narrative does soften the endless duration of the conflict, yet it opens a path for younger viewers to approach history without turning away in despair. By mixing tenderness with tension, Forrest Gump offers a window into war that viewers of every age can process without losing hope. Now get ready, because a massive behind-the-scenes secret is about to explode. Number 7, taking the kids to work. On the very first bus ride young Forrest takes to school, 2 children glare at him and growl, "Seats taken," leaving him stranded until Jenny scoots over with a smile. Surprise, those pint-sized bullies were not hired actors at all. The boy was Alexander Zemeckis, son of director Robert Zemeckis, while the girl was Elizabeth Hanks, daughter of Tom Hanks. That tiny moment sparks a friendship that carries the whole story. Jenny's simple kindness feels heavenly to Forrest, who later gushes that she looked like an angel that day. Together they read comic books, climb trees, and face playground taunts, always sticking closer than peas mixed into carrots. Jenny's warmth matters even more when you peek behind her own closed door. She lost her mother early and lived with a cruel father, turning her days with Forrest into a safe island away from hurt. Every laugh they share on that bus bench becomes armor against the darkness waiting at Jenny's porch. Number 6, alternative cast members that almost happened. Believe it or not, Tom Hanks was never the studio's first pick for Forrest Gump. John Travolta, Bill Murray, and Chevy Chase all thumbed through the script, then walked away, and Travolta later admitted he wished he had said yes. The role of Bubba Ping Pong through Hollywood too. Producers offered to David Alan Grier, Ice Cube, and Dave Chappelle. Ice Cube felt uneasy about playing a soldier with a disability, while Chappelle feared the part might trap him in painful stereotypes, only to kick himself later when the film exploded. Casting twists did not stop there. Jodie Foster, Nicole Kidman, and Demi Moore circled Jenny before Robin Wright stepped in and scored award nominations for her haunting performance. Number 5, Tom Hanks pays for the run. 7 soulful minutes of screen time show Forrest trotting across America. Yet those breathtaking shots almost vanished when Paramount refused to foot the bill. Director Robert Zemeckis could not bear to lose the sequence, so he asked Hanks to split the cost with him, promising a bigger slice of profits if the gamble worked. Hanks nodded without blinking. The pair wrote personal checks, then flew crews to deserts, mountains, and endless highways, stitching together the most inspiring jog in cinema. Crowds copy Forrest stride, homemade signs pop up, and one bumper sticker with a cleaned-up slogan saying stuff happens rockets into pop culture when the bearded runner suddenly stops and whispers, I think I'll go home now. Audiences everywhere gasp, proving every penny was worth it. Number 4, the feather that floated for real. Many viewers assumed the computer animated that dreamy white feather. Yet the crew chose real feathers and old-school blue screen magic. They filmed multiple gentle descents, then layered the takes so the feather drifts like destiny on a summer breeze. The soft plume lands at Forrest's sneakers in the opening scene, slides into his suitcase, then reappears after he waves his little boy onto the school bus. The image whispers Forrest's deepest belief that life rides invisible currents, guiding us even when we do not know the destination. Watching that feather wiggle in the wind reminds us that every step may be chance, but every chance can carry wonder. Number 3, Hanks beats the flu on the football field. While cameras rolled on the college gridiron, Tom Hanks fought a raging flu, yet sprinted the full length of the field again and again. Each dash demanded top speed and picture-perfect form, but chills and aches never cracked his grin. These scenes prove Forrest's unbelievable speed, and Hanks refused to let sickness steal the shine. The real fever mirrored Forrest's own story, pushing through pain to find triumph. When you rewatch those touchdowns, remember the actor shaking with fever off camera, then exploding with energy when the whistle blew. That dedication glues authenticity to every yard he covers. Number 2, the sequel that stalled forever. Author Winston Groom penned a follow-up novel in 1995, sending Forrest into a whirlwind where a Hollywood blockbuster about his life already exists. The script put Forrest in a humbler spot, broke and mopping floors at a New Orleans club after the shrimp company collapses. He would grumble about the movie's mistakes, cross paths with Tom Hanks playing Tom Hanks, and chase a fresh dream of championship football before hustling fake encyclopedias on the road. Touching, crazy, and sometimes bleak, the tale never captured the first film's lightning. Development dragged on until the project vanished into that dreaded place insiders call development hell. Sometimes leaving a legend untouched is the wiser choice. Number 1, the most famous line was an accident. My name is Forrest Gump. People call me Forrest Gump. Tom Hanks blurted those words on a whim when the camera started rolling, and the crew loved the honest ring. So the director kept it. That unscripted gem turned into the movie's calling card, quoted on playgrounds, morning shows, and red carpet around the globe. Moments like this prove movie magic often hides in unplanned sparks between actor and character. Hanks let Forrest's plain heart speak, and the entire world listened.